6 on the edges, 8 in the field, and that'll be the same for the side sheeting. Yeah, we'll take that. Yeah, we have to get this in the right sequence of events. So once we get the plumbing in, we're going to get that cut, we're going to get it stubbed out, we're going to get it connected to the glue lamb where it needs to go. Then we can do the subfloor, make the correct cuts for those because that's going to come all the way through the floor. Once we get that subfloor done and done correctly, that'll make sure that all of our framing is nice and square and plumb. And then we're going to be able to go up top and we'll do the glue lambs up top. 2 2x4s like this, like that. When you cut it, it can't fall down and it's not going to pinch your blade.
The 2x4s on the sawhorse should be like this.
It's exciting. They really enjoy it. Anytime that they get to do something new, it lights a fire underneath them and they're like, I really enjoy this. So it's good for me as an instructor to be able to see the energy that they have when they see something new, they get to learn something new. That's exciting for them. And so it's an exciting day for the students at Ideal. Let's see if it's right. Oh my goodness.
It's right.
That looks good. But if you're doing one where the full board's going to be on it, make sure that you go both sides.
Gotcha.
So you don't want to try to push that one in so far that you don't have an eighth perfectly, and then let it be. So we have this connected to our glue lamb with 3/4 inch plywood. That's to give us enough space for our drywall. The interior wall will be here. Then we'll have the stub outs for your main line. So this is 3/4 inch PEX. This is your hot and your cold, obviously, just red and blue. That represents that. Pretty simple. We have them capped off at the end. That way that we can pressurize these lines in all these units to make sure that they are not leaking before we ship them out. And then we also have our ABS stub out here, which is where our sink goes. And so we'll have reducers here that go from 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch that'll go to our main water, our sink up top, and then we'll also have a line for the refrigerator as well. That'll be there for ice and whatnot. So very exciting. These guys are learning new things every day. All of the plumbing on the kitchen unit will be on this butt end wall, which is fairly simple for them, but it'll allow for them to grow for the next time. This is the fundamentals of everything that they're going to be using on the next build.
So all the water that's going to enter the structure is we're talking about right here, right?
Yep. We'll have a water heater right above it, okay? And that'll give us the hot and the cold that we need for the sink. And then it'll run down again, and we'll run the water for the refrigerator as well to the right there.
Right, all along this wall, right?
All along this main wall, yep. So we make sure that we give them their layout. Layout is their distances from the outside wall, where all of these need to go, and then the layout for the ABS as well, all the way down here. And that's very important because it needs to fit within the wall and the studs and all of these things. They all tie together, and if any of these things are wrong with the layout, either whether it's plumbing and or the studs themselves, they will have to go back and fix those, and that's very time consuming. So we want to make sure that they get the right information and that they do it right from the very beginning. That way that everything runs smoothly after that. Let's go, 6 a.m. How we doing, guys? So do your 8 inches in the field and do your 6 inches on the edge so that it'll suck down, and then that glue will dry with it down where it's supposed to be instead of have it dry where that wood just kind of floating on it. It's important that when you put these down and that they're glued. So we got the subfloor going in, that's going in and making sure that it's square on the glue lambs on the outside. We're making sure that they're hitting their layout. Their layout is right here on these eye joists. So you can see that they've done a good layout here because this subfloor, this 3/4 inch sub, lands right in the middle of this eye joist, which is 2.5 inches. If this was to land here on the outside there, the integrity of this subfloor would be compromised. So we have to make sure that we land in the middle every time. That way we can run good lines here. They'll be running 6 and 8 in the field. So we make sure to make that the edges are 6 inches in between screws, and the field would be here on this line where it's not connected. This would be every 8 inches all the way down. And
if it doesn't land right in the middle, right, then we're probably talking about a dangerous floor later on, right?
Yeah, so it's going to creak, it's going to pull those screws out, and it's going to make sure that it's not going to bear that weight properly. So that's just going to pull up on this eye joist, and it's going to rip those screws out. So it's very important that they come in here and that it lands dead center in the middle of this layout on this eye joist. And that's going to make sure that you get no creaking, no movement. When you get on a floor and that glue underneath isn't right and this isn't landing in the middle, you can always hear it no matter what type of top flooring that you have on there, whether it be laminate or whether it be tile. Everything that you lay on top of here is gonna sound bad, and it's not going to be as structurally sound unless they have this glued and screwed 6 and 8, and this is laying on layout, dead center on those eye joists. Once you have all that, building from there up, everything else works really well. Yeah, so what I was teaching these guys, you can see that some of the glue had came out here and they came back in and they scraped all that off, and that's very important because in between putting these sheets down, that liquid nails is going to dry. You put the next sheet down and that's not going to allow it to lay flat, and then you're going to have a floor that's uneven, and you're going to see that when you come in and finish out your floor. So we want to make sure that that's completely cleaned up all the way down. What side did you want on it? You want this side sticking this way?
What are you measuring here?
All right, is she?
We're making sure that yes, she is taking that wood. She's taking, no, not your wood, that's your wood. Yeah, his. So I am measuring that the ends are the same width as the middle. So it's important when you come over here, you have a glue lamb that we've connected with the lag bolts. And so that this is nice and tight at the end. But when if you scan to the middle there on that glue lamb, so there isn't a glue lamb here in the middle. So it's important that our eye joists are the same width as that middle glue lamb. And then also that we have these bar clamps here. Until we get the sheeting down, we have to keep these bar clamps on. The sheeting then will hold it tight so it doesn't rack and move, so that this isn't bigger in the middle than it is at the end. If it's bigger in the middle than it is at the end, then we're not square, we're not true, we're not plumb. And so now everything going up top is going to be not square. And so we have to make sure that all of this is absolutely correct. So that's what they just did right now. They put these clamps on and everything looks good now. That way you don't have extra glue sticking out and drying on you. Every single thing that they're going to do is new. We did a bit of a crash course because you can't sit there. I could sit in there for 8 hours a day upstairs and I could explain to them everything about plumbing, and we could probably do that for quite some time. But what I needed to do for them today was just to give them the basic information, allow for them to come down here, be able to touch it, feel it, work with it, understand what we're talking about. That's what's so great about this school, is that we're going to talk about it up here. We're going to teach you about it in the book. We're going to maybe possibly show you a couple videos, but that's only going to be 30 minutes to an hour. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to actually let you get your hands on it. And when you start to work with it, now all that learning becomes long-term memory, and they get to learn a lot more and a lot quicker in that aspect. Yep, there we go. You got to pull that one in.